Maybe. Yeah, maybe. It might just be slightly less confusing.
So did everybody do their reading? Any questions? That's what I thought.
How beneficial would it be for me to see my students' progress on a daily basis? I most certainly do that in more subtle ways in class when I have exercises and we're reviewing together and I'm trying to make sure that we're all on the same page in reviewing certain questions or an entire exercise or a worksheet. That doesn't always give me a sense for the individual student. That gives me an opportunity as a class for us to work together as a class. I think that I would be better off knowing if there are certain patterns of difficulty that the students are having. And simply by asking the question, inviting students to say, what are you struggling with? Which principles did you not quite understand? Is there a question on the homework that wasn't clear to you? I don't know that students are always willing to or forthcoming with a comment. And so having a better sense for what they're doing, how much time they spend on their homework, if there's a great disparity between certain groups in a class or not, those kinds of things would be beneficial.
We have created an online interactive story that students use in place of an ordinary textbook. It uses a Facebook-like interface with student profiles, status updates, wall posts, photos, and blog posts. The data tracker we will create will record the students' activity on the website. It will keep track of when students log in, log out, what they click on, and how much they write on the site. One of the best new features we have is an error correction tool which the teacher can use to observe the types and frequencies of different errors the students make. The data tracker would graph this information so the teacher can use it to adapt his or her lessons to the needs of the students. This technology enhances the classroom because it bears the burden of discovering students' strengths and weaknesses and tracks how they perform on a daily basis rather than waiting to see what they produce on the occasional test, essay, or other assignment. Teachers will have more time to devote to the actual process of learning rather than wasting time gauging students' understanding.
Morning, everybody. Looks like everyone got their homework finished, but I could see that everyone took a long time on questions 4 through 10, and they're all subjunctive. So that's what we'll spend the bulk of our class time on today to make sure we really get that down.
This is part of I think, an everyday experience for students these days. And so when you integrate the learning process into technologies or habits that they already have, my suspicion is that you offer yourself opportunities for learning that come quite naturally. You know, there's this natural integration of what you're doing. It's maybe some students aren't so bookish and don't want to read books. They're going to have to read books, but maybe they're pretty experienced at opening their laptop, or they have an iPhone or something like this, and an iPod and an MP3 player, whatever it might be, and they're used to downloading a podcast and listening to it. And I think that's one of the reasons that I would do that.